13 champions, 13 legends, but only one can be called the ultimate GOAT. We're about to show you the most insane moments that turn these fighters into living legends. From 115 pounds of pure destruction to heavyweight titans, we've got knockouts so crazy you'll think they're CGI. Get ready to see why these champs are on a whole other level. Imagine stepping into the octagon with two strawweight titans, each unleashing 115 pounds of relentless power. These ladies brought the heat like you've never seen before. Round after round, they just kept swinging. No quit, no backing down. It was like watching a hurricane and a typhoon collide in the octagon. By the end of it, Joanna's forehead looked like something straight out of a monster movie. I'm talking extreme swelling here. But get this, neither one of them wanted to stop. They were ready to go for another 5 rounds if they had to. Weili squeaked out the win by the skin of her teeth, but both these warriors showed why they're absolute legends. Shifting gears to the flyweight division, where chaos and strategy collide in explosive fashion. Think size determines excitement? You're in for a shock. This clash was pure chaos and destruction. Enter Demetrius Johnson vs. Henry Cejudo II. Johnson, untouchable for 6 long years. Cejudo, hungry for revenge and packing a whole new bag of tricks. 5 rounds of non-stop action that had the fans on the edge of their seats. You couldn't blink or you'd miss something epic. Then out of nowhere, Cejudo pulls off the unthinkable. He dethrones the Mighty Mouse. But here's the kicker. Those judges' scorecards were tighter than a UFC glove. 48-47, 47-48, and 48-47. It doesn't get any closer than this. Cejudo's game changer? A complete overhaul of his strategy. His coach spilled the beans. We zeroed in on Johnson's weak spots, especially in the clinch, and it paid off big time. Cejudo himself said it best. I knew I had to bring my A game. I trained harder than ever. This fight shook the flyweight division to its core. The end of DJ's dominance was over, and a new chapter had begun. But wait, what strategy will disrupt the next legendary fight? Stay tuned. In the women's flyweight arena, an underdog rose to challenge a 7-time title defender. Here's how it unfolded. Buckle up, because we're about to witness an upset that'll make your head spin. Valentina Shevchenko versus Alexa Grasso. The dominator against the dreamer. Shevchenko, boasting an impressive 7 title defenses, seemed unbeatable. However, Grasso had a different strategy in mind. Round after round, Shevchenko was cruising. Her striking, on point. Her ground game, solid. But Grasso, she was like a Terminator. She just kept coming, pushing, and believing. Fast forward to the 4th round, and everything goes sideways. Grasso spots her chance and strikes like a cobra. She locks in that chokehold, and suddenly the unthinkable happens. Shevchenko taps, and just like that, we've got a new champ. Shevchenko, humble in defeat, said it best. She caught me in a moment when I was not expecting it. It was a good fight. Talk about the understatement of the century. This fight, fans, is why we love MMA. Anything can happen. So what does this mean for Grasso's future? Stick around and find out. When 2 legends step into the bantamweight cage, the air is thick with anticipation. Dominic Cruz vs. Henry Cejudo is about to ignite the division. Dominic Cruz, the comeback king, facing off against Henry Cejudo, the Olympic champ turned MMA mastermind. Both hungry to prove they're the greatest bantamweight of all time. This fight was like watching a high-speed chess match on steroids. Cruz's footwork was something else, dodging and weaving like he had eyes in the back of his head. But Cejudo? He came with a plan to shut that down. Those leg kicks were brutal, slamming into Cruz's legs and throwing his whole game off. Fun fact, 36 leg kicks landed. That's enough to knock the wind out of anyone. Every time Cruz tried to dance, Cejudo chopped him down. Cruz couldn't find his rhythm, and Cejudo smelled blood in the water. When the dust settled, Cejudo stood tall. He didn't just win. He showed the world how to beat the unbeatable. So if you think that's crazy, brace yourself for a jaw-dropping moment in the women's division. From undefeated champion to stunned silence in under a minute. Ronda Rousey's comeback fight was supposed to be her moment of glory. Instead, it turned into a shocking wake-up call. What happens when a dominant force meets Amanda Nunes? Amanda Nunes vs. Rousey, the clash that reshaped women's MMA. Rousey, the former champ, back to reclaim her spot. Nunes, the rising star, ready to prove she's the real deal. The bell rings. Nunes strikes like a bolt of lightning. Rousey tries to fire back, but she's a step behind. Nunes is just too quick, too powerful. Every punch lands like thunder. 48 seconds, that's all it takes. Nunes lands 27 strikes, all of them connect, 100% accuracy. It's complete demolition. Rousey, dazed and confused, later admits, "I didn't expect her to come out that strong. I thought I could weather the storm, but she was just too much." And just like that, the Rousey era crumbles. The lioness has taken over. What could Rousey have done to turn the tide? Let us know in the comments. The lioness may have conquered her division, but another epic clash was brewing. Volkanovski vs. Aldo was about to show us what happens when two titans collide. Jose Aldo, the featherweight legend, squaring off against Alexander Volkanovski, the hungry newcomer. For 3 rounds, these guys went at it like there was no tomorrow. Aldo trying to prove he still had that legendary fire. Volkanovski ready to make his mark on the division. But here's where things get wild. Volkanovski's pressure was off the charts. He kept coming at Aldo like a freight train with unstoppable momentum, resulting in 136 significant strikes landed. He was a non-stop highlight reel in action. Aldo tried to fire back, but Volkanovski was always there, always pushing. Volkanovski's game plan? Pure genius. He kept Aldo on the back foot, never letting him set up those devastating kicks. By the end, it was clear as day. A new era had begun in the featherweight division. Are you ready for the Volkanovski show? Did this open the door to Volkanovski's GOAT status, or did what followed in his career truly throw him into the featherweight GOAT conversation? From featherweight chaos to female firepower, remember when they said women couldn't headline a UFC card? Nunes vs. Cyborg was about to silence the doubters in just 51 seconds of pure carnage. Two titans of women's MMA ready to throw down. Cyborg, unbeaten for 13 years, a force of nature in the cage. Nunes, moving up in weight, hungry to make history. The hype was through the roof. Experts were calling it the biggest women's fight ever. The bell rings and boom, Nunes explodes like a coiled spring. 27 significant strikes in 51 seconds. That's not fighting, that's a freight train on fast forward. Cyborg tries to fire back, but she's punching smoke. Nunes is just too fast and too precise. When the dust settles, Cyborg's on the canvas and Nunes is standing tall. The unthinkable just happened. Nunes didn't just win, she shattered expectations. MMA will never be the same. Did this cement Nunes as the greatest female fighter of all time? Let us know in the comments below. Nunes rewrote the playbook, but some chapters remain unwritten. In the lightweight division, two titans never clashed, leaving fans hungry for a showdown. Khabib vs. Oliveira. The fight that set the MMA world on fire without ever throwing a single punch. Khabib, the undefeated eagle, soaring with a perfect 29-0 record. Oliveira, the submission wizard, with a jaw-dropping 16 tap-outs in the UFC. Picture these two monsters going at it on the ground. It's like watching two anacondas trying to squeeze the life out of each other. Khabib's takedowns were unstoppable, 48% accuracy, the best in lightweight history. But Oliveira? He'd catch you slipping and suddenly you're tapping faster than a caffeinated drummer. Fans and experts couldn't stop talking about this dream matchup. It was the grappling equivalent of a volcanic eruption. Khabib's relentless top pressure versus Oliveira's slick submissions from his back. The ultimate ground war that never happened, leaving us all wonder what could have been. Imagine witnessing this clash. Who would emerge victorious? Let us know below. What happens when a Canadian legend faces a Nigerian powerhouse? The welterweight division is set for a seismic clash. GSP vs. Usman. The Canadian legend facing off against the Nigerian nightmare. It's like pitting a master strategist against a relentless powerhouse. Who will outsmart whom when the cage is the battlefield? This fight could reshape the entire history of the division. GSP with his insane 13 title fight wins. Usman riding high on a 15-fight win streak. That's longer than some of his fellow legends maintain their titles. These guys are wrestling powerhouses who could tear the octagon apart. GSP's got that mind-blowing 90 takedowns record, while Usman's been turning into a striking machine under Trevor Whitman. 5 rounds of non-stop action. GSP's rock-solid 75% striking defense against Usman's newfound knockout power. Every punch, every takedown could end it all. And when the dust settles, it might just come down to pure heart. GSP himself admitted that the welterweight division's evolved since his time. But could his Swiss Army knife skill set overcome Usman's raw power? We'll never know for sure, but that's what makes this fantasy fight so damn exciting. So who do you think would reign supreme in this epic showdown? Let us know below in the comments. Prepare yourselves for a masterclass in striking and strategy as Anderson Silva meets Israel Adesanya in an unforgettable showdown. The Spider versus the Stylebender. This wasn't your average scrap, it was like watching two martial arts masters in a high-speed kung fu flick. Every move, every fake-out had us on the edge of our seats. But who came out on top in this striking showdown? Anderson Silva, the aging legend. Israel Adesanya, the new kid on the block, with fists of fury. For 3 rounds, these two put on a show that had our jaws on the floor. Adesanya was on fire, landing 57% of his strikes. Silva? No pushover, connecting with 50% accuracy himself. But this fight was more than just numbers. It was like watching two grandmasters play speed chess with their fists. Adesanya's slick modern style against Silva's classic counterpunching. Every exchange was a mini battle. Every feint could have changed the game in a heartbeat. Adesanya's secret sauce? His crazy distance control and side-to-side movement. He kept Silva guessing, never letting the Spider set up those deadly counters. In the end, Adesanya got his hand raised, but both guys walked out as absolute legends. What a fight. Which moment from this masterclass stood out to you the most? The tension was palpable as Jon Jones and Daniel Cormier faced off for the first time, sparking a rivalry that would be as intense as any in MMA history. The Jon Jones and Daniel Cormier feud was on another planet. These guys didn't just dislike each other, they despised every fiber of the other's being, and their fights, pure chaos. Jones, the unbeaten wonderkin, versus Cormier, the Olympic wrestler turned MMA beast. 2 battles, both absolute barn burners. First time around, Jones landed 84 big shots to Cormier's 78. Talk about a nail-biter, but the rematch? Jones went berserk, landing 100 strikes to Cormier's 65. Every second was a war of willpower and technique. Jones's ability to switch things up mid-fight was mind-blowing. Experts raved about how he could make in-fight calculations better than anyone in the sport. His striking? A total nightmare for Cormier. The smack talk was off the charts too. Jones famously snarled, "I don't like you, I don't respect you," and Cormier shot back, vowing to show Jones what real wrestling is. In the end, Jones got the W, but the drama never let up. Love him or hate him, he showed why he's in the GOAT conversation. Who do you think had the most intense rivalry in MMA? Let us know in the comments below. Visualize 2 of the most dominant forces in MMA history. The unstoppable Jon Jones and the legendary Stipe Miocic, about to collide in a fight that's been years in the making. Brace yourselves for what might be the greatest heavyweight showdown in UFC history. Picture this, Jones with his mind-blowing 84.5-inch reach and creative striking arsenal squaring off against Miocic, the knockout artist who redefined heavyweight excellence. We're talking about 2 fighting computers here. Jones's otherworldly fight IQ versus Stipe's championship experience and tactical brilliance. But hold up, this isn't just about striking. Both these legends are wrestling phenoms too. Jones brings that nasty ground and pound and submission threat, while Stipe's got the wrestling credentials to potentially neutralize it. One takedown, one elbow, or one of Stipe's signature right hands could change everything. The crazy part? Both guys have paths to victory. Jones could piece Miocic up from range with those devastating oblique kicks and creative elbows, or he could take it to the ground and show why he's considered the most complete fighter ever. But don't sleep on Stipe. If he can close that distance and unleash his boxing combinations, we might see another chapter in his legacy of heavyweight upsets. How do you see this historic clash playing out? Will Jones's versatility prove to be too much, or can Stipe's power and experience shock the world? Let us know in the comments below. Think Alex Pereira's just another champ? Think again. This guy is the boogeyman that keeps the UFC fighters tossing and turning at night. 2-division champion, knockout machine, striking mastermind, Pereira's the whole package and then some. But is he truly invincible, or is there a chink in his armor waiting to be exposed? From dominating the kickboxing world to conquering MMA, Pereira's skyrocketed to the top. He's not just winning belts, he's leaving a trail of shell-shocked opponents in his wake. With a knockout rate of 63%, this dude hits like a wrecking ball on steroids. And get this, his striking accuracy, a mind-blowing 50%. That's not just good, That's video game cheat code territory. Fighters who've faced Pereira say his punches feel like getting hit by a truck, even when they don't land flush. It's that kind of bone-crushing power that gives his opponents nightmares. But here's the kicker. He's still getting better. His footwork and head movement have leveled up since joining the UFC. So is Pereira the most electrifying fighter in the game right now? Many say hell yeah. But the million-dollar question is, can anyone crack the code and derail this runaway train? Do you think Pereira has it takes to become the MMA GOAT? Let us know your thoughts. MMA is a roller coaster ride, folks. 1 minute you're soaring high, the next you're crashing down. These legends we've talked about, they've all had their moments in the spotlight and their faceplants in the dirt. That's what makes this sport so damn thrilling. So who's the ultimate GOAT? Is it Jones, Nunes, or maybe even Khabib? Hell, it could be someone we haven't even mentioned. What do you think? Who's your pick for the MMA GOAT? Drop it in the comments and let's get this debate going. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button, subscribe for more epic fight analysis, and ring that bell so you never miss a knockout moment.